Shalom Day of Yeshua. Hag Sameach Sukkot Day 4.
Shalom, little friends. How are you?
Little friends, we are very happy for the Feast of Sukkot, the Eternal Father's commandment to live in our cabin for 7 days is very fun, and the teachings are of much blessing.
Yes, Yossi. I have learned a lot from the life of Abraham and Yitzhak.
Yes, Sharon, and we will still see the pilgrimage of more characters that the Torah recounts, and thus we will learn from them. Today, we will learn from the life of one more patriarch.
Yossi, can I tell the little friends which patriarch it is?
Of course, Sharon, go ahead.
Little friends, if we have already seen the pilgrimage of Abraham and Yitzhak, then Yaakov is next. Yaakov was the son of Yitzhak, and Yitzhak was the son of Abraham. That is to say, Yaakov was the grandson of the patriarch Abraham. Little friends, do you have grandparents? Yossi, did Yaakov have brothers?
Sharon, the patriarch Yaakov had a brother named Esav. The Torah tells us that his mother, Rivkah, was barren for a long time. Yitzhak cried out to the Eternal Father, and, in his favor, the Eternal granted them not only the ability to have a son, but 2 sons at the same time within her womb. But they fought in the womb. And Rivkah asked the Eternal Father why this happened, and the Eternal Father replied that they would become 2 nations.
Yossi, 2 nations?
Yes, when they grew up, their children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren would be very numerous, which would be 2 great nations. That's how Yaakov and Esav grew up, and Esav became a skilled hunter, a man of the field, while Yaakov was a quiet man, dwelling in the tents.
Yossi, so Yaakov lived in temporary huts like the one we built for Sukkot?
That is right, Sharon. Now let's see what the Torah tells us. A special blessing.
The Torah tells us in Bereshit chapter 27 that the time had come when Yitzhak would give the blessing to the eldest son, meaning Esav. However, the scripture relates that Esav was not interested in receiving that special blessing that his father would give him. So he exchanged it with Yaakov for a little stew, and thus despised and rejected the birthright. And when the time came, Yaakov and his mother, Rivkah, made Isaac give his birthright blessing to Yaakov, which is why Esav got angry with him and swore to kill him.
As you can see, Sharon, Yaakov received the instruction to fear the Almighty since he was a child. He learned that it is better to be at home. This represents being under the authority of the Father, while Esav, although he received the instruction to fear the Almighty, he chose to leave his home to go to the field. The field represents the world, and in history we can see that Esav went astray and sinned against the Eternal by taking idolatrous wives.
Yossi, if the field represents the world, then we should not follow the example of Esav, who took care of the passing things of this world. As the letter from James or Yaakov tells us, do not be friends of the world. In today's world, there is much evil disguised as good things, but they are unpleasant before the Almighty.
Let's continue with the story in the Torah. Yaakov's meeting with his Almighty.
In chapter 28 of Bereshit, we are told that after Esav threatened Yaakov with death, his parents told him to go to his grandfather's, Bethuel's house, and marry there one of the daughters of his uncle Laban.
And we read in the scripture that while on the way, Jacob stopped to rest and had a dream where the Eternal appeared to him and repeated the promise he had made to his grandfather Abraham and his father Yitzhak, that is, that he was going to give them the land where he and his descendants were. He also told him that he would protect him wherever he went. That is where Yaakov made a pact with the Almighty.
What do you think, Sharon? The scripture shows us that although Yaakov knew from the Eternal, from the instruction he had received since childhood at his parents' house, the time came when he personally had to confirm that pact with the Eternal Father as his own decision and not just because his parents taught him that way.
Oh, Yossi, you are right. Our parents with love teach us about the Eternal. But at some point, when we are adults, we must make the decision to live in Him or not, according to His instruction. Let us hope to be righteous and wise, to continue in obedience.
And so we see that Yaakov not only had knowledge, but he put it into practice. And throughout his life, he went through many challenges and many tests where he did not forget the promises of the Eternal Father. He fought to receive his blessing and did not care about success in the world, like Esav. Little friends, Yaakov was a temporary Sukkah, even since he was in the womb. The scripture says that the two babies fought. As a child, he preserved at home, being instructed. As a young man, he continued at home, helping his parents. He was a subject in obedience to his father and mother in everything. He fought to receive the blessing and continue it. He obeyed his father to not marry a idolatrous woman, and he also knew how to instruct his son Yosef to be used by the Eternal. Yaakov teaches us to always keep the Eternal in mind and complete our life of service to Him on this pilgrimage and in these temporary tents.
Yossi, come on, let's exalt our Eternal Father. Let's dance, because in Him we also have promises and a special blessing in the eternal dwellings.
Chag Sameach Sukkot!
With great joy, you will appear before Adonai on the 15th day of the 7th month. You will celebrate Sukkot, Sukkot. In temporary dwellings you must celebrate Sukkot, Sukkot. Your first before the Father you must praise Him. With songs full of joy you will exalt Sukkot, Sukkot. 7 days you have this, you will rejoice. Promises of Yeshua, we remember on this festivity. By heavenly abodes, the earthly ones He will transform. Sukkot, Sukkot. In temporary dwellings you must adore Sukkot, Sukkot. Your foot before the Father you must praise Him. With songs full of joy you will exalt Sukkot, Sukkot.
Activity. Yaakov, a Sukkah that persevered. Little friends, for the 4th day of Sukkot, download the activity to review this great teaching. You will solve a word search looking for significant words in the pilgrimage of Yaakov. This way, we will reflect on how we must also persevere, like temporary cabins. Little friends, remember to visit the Cielos Nuevos y Tierra Nueva website in the section Niños at www.cielosnuevosytierranueva.org and download all of our free material. We have a WhatsApp and Telegram number +52 33 28 24 91 85, where you can send your photos and videos when solving the activity of Yaakov, a Sukkah that persevered. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Cielos Nuevos Niños. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, YouTube/Cielos Nuevos Niños. And let's continue learning about the Eternal Father's instruction.
In the next teaching, Sukkot Day 5, the 19th day of the 7th month. Little friends, see you at the next teaching on the 5th day of Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles. Shalom!